And honestly, I don't even think Epstein unalived himself either. Because the time they said it was 11:58. Then it all of a sudden it jumped to like 12.
Trump is full of shit. You expect people to really believe that there's no client list, okay? Come on now.
Black Summit Podcast, once again, in full effect. I'm Hendrix.
And I'm Brooks. First off, I just want to say thank you to all of our new subscribers.
Man, forget them now.
We've gotten a lot of new subscribers. Welcome to the Black Summit. Welcome to this. We have a lot more content coming out for you guys. We're going to be talking about politics. We're going to be talking about hip hop, whatever you guys want to talk about. Let us know and we'll discuss it on the pod, you know. So
yeah, because that's where we are. That's where we at. That's what's going on now. A lot of politics, a lot of things in social media and hip hop and things like that, man. So yeah, that's what's on. That's the word on the street lately.
Word on the street.
Streets. Yeah, man. So, we ain't gonna bore you unless if you got something you want to get off your chest.
Well, if we have time, we'll talk about Drake and the new rollout for that. But we're gonna start off with the crazy world of 2025. A lot of things have been going on. Apparently, Diddy is innocent. And
no, he's not. He's not innocent.
Apparently, Diddy is innocent. And also Epstein never really happened. So if you can, put two and two together there, we're going to be talking about Diddy being found innocent on 3 of the 5 counts. And then we'll be getting into the Epstein list. The Trump people are saying that it's non-existent. Nothing ever happened.
Of course they're going to say that. They're Trump people. They should say that.
So, that's what's coming out. I mean, is it true? I know MAGA is kind of losing their mind over this, so we'll talk about that. And then we got to talk about something sad, actually. What's going on in Texas? The flooding has been crazy. I mean, when you think about it, there's the death toll is rising. So we're going to be getting into that. But first we want to. Let's start off with that. Actually, let's start off with that, so we can end on some high notes.
Tragic.
Let's go straight into it.
Go ahead. What you got?
All right, this is a CNN story. At least 161 are missing, and 109, actually 110, are dead in the catastrophic Texas flooding. The governor says, Governor Abbott. So. This flooding has been going on. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the story about it. What are your thoughts?
Before let's listen to this. Since you mentioned Governor Abbott, let's hear this clip from him.
The state was aware that there was a possible serious flooding event days in advance, and we pre-positioned assets and resources and personnel. And remember, the flood began on Friday morning. We originally positioned those assets, resources, and personnel on Wednesday. Then when greater clarity was discerned on Thursday, we moved them closer, added, and made sure that we had adequate supply going into Friday. So we were ready with the resources on the ground to be able to quickly respond. Some people say, well, we responded so fast. One reason we did respond fast is because we had assets here already. That said, we didn't know the magnitude of the storm. We knew that there was a flash flood warning. And if you heard a flash flood warning, no one would know that would be a 30-foot high tsunami wall of water, I don't think. But all I can tell you is the information we had, the state had, and that we acted on, was information that catalyzed us to begin putting assets and resources in place 2 days before the event happened.
All right. Well, there you go. That's what he had to say. Obviously, he's trying to, because there's been a lot of criticism of him and Trump, basically saying that they got rid of people who would have warned, the meteorologists who would have warned about a storm like this. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, he's that you said that a thing on CNN, the weather. He's stating now, he says he cares a lot, Abbott says, about President Trump. So Texas
Mm-hmm.
Governor Greg Abbott said he spoke to President Donald Trump after the catastrophic floods and that the president cares a lot about those who have lost their lives. He could not stop talking about how sad he was for all the little girls who have lost their lives, Abbott said about the conversation with the president. He recounted his own understanding of what happened with what was really a tsunami wave of a wall of water that swept too many of them away. Abbott said Trump wants to step up and ensure that any needs the state has will be met very quickly. But didn't Trump, he's talking about getting rid of FEMA? That's something what FEMA would do. That's a government
Yeah,
agency.
FEMA's still around, and FEMA's there right now.
They're there right now. But he was talking about, defunding and getting rid of FEMA. But Texas has floods. They had floods before. I don't know. Of course, they were all severe. I don't know if this is the biggest death toll that they have had since these floods. But they have had floods before. But man, it's unfortunate. 161 people known to be missing. Did you see any of the footage?
I did see some of the footage, and it did look like the water was just flowing. And
Yeah.
it's a very scary situation. Like, what do you do in a situation like that? I mean, when the water's just coming at you.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see that so many children died. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it was a school, right, that got swept away.
Mm.
And, now there's tons of people who are missing.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of those things where you just sit back and you're like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can really say about it. Now, as far as Trump and whether he got rid of people, I don't think people should be, politicizing this. I mean, this is a tragedy right now. Like, what are people talking about? Why are they talking about, like, oh, he got rid of this or he didn't. And like, even Trump, him like talking about it, like him like, oh, it could have been Biden's fault. It's like, guys, we need to focus on the people. Like people have lost their lives.
I don't know about you, man, but I'm a little tired of constantly hearing the Republicans. Oh, the Democrats this and you guys in office, y'all are in the seat. Forget the Democrats. What are y'all gonna do to make if Democrats made things so bad? What are you guys gonna do to make it better?
Yeah,
constantly saying, "Oh, Biden's this, Democrats that." That's enough.
Why are we politicizing a situation?
But that's what they do.
This should not be politicized.
So about FEMA. So I'm reading this article here in CNN. Schumer warns against cuts to FEMA following devastating Texas flood. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer warned President Donald Trump against further cuts to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is FEMA, following the devastating flooding in Texas, and said he was called for an investigation into whether federal cuts affected the tragic outcome. Mm-hmm. So, and this is a quote from, I guess, Schumer. What he said, yesterday I asked for an investigation into what role, if any, the administration staff cuts to local National Weather Service stations played in preparedness and response to the Texas tragedy. Schumer said, as communities rebuild, as families mourn, we must ensure the federal government has all the resources in place to aid those in need, and that means holding off against devastating cuts to agencies like FEMA. So do you think that the big, beautiful bill will have something in place for natural disasters? I haven't heard anything about reference to it, but you think,
I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, like,
you don't care if they do anything about natural disasters?
Well, I mean, like, everybody wants to get up in arms about the big, beautiful bill. Again, the time to get up in arms about the big, beautiful bill was in November, when you had the chance to go and vote, when you had the chance to get people excited about voting, and you put out a candidate that wasn't winnable. And now you can blame it on Biden because he should have got out. I agree with that 150%. But like, to try to sit here and complain about this bill and it passing when I almost said Mike Pence. What's the dude's name? J.D. Vance was the deciding vote. J.D. Vance was the deciding vote. that was the time to change something and make sure that these things didn't get enacted. That 2025 didn't get
You
enacted.
tell me when it was in the Senate and J.D. Vance did the tie.
They had the
couldn't
chance.
do nothing. They couldn't.
They had the chance to. Here's the thing
well,
about the Democrats.
Yeah.
The Democrats, they had 2.5 years to fix the problems that people were talking about. You can go and look at our other podcast episodes. I'm literally sitting here going, you cannot run Biden again. You cannot run Biden again because he's going to lose. I mean, like, I was sitting there for 2 years saying, do not run this dude again. You're going to lose if you run him again. And other people were saying it too. And they decided to run him. And when they figured out that he couldn't win, then they decided to dangle Kamala. Oh, well, here goes Kamala. And it's like,
and it probably wasn't fair
guys,
to her.
what are y'all doing?
To throw
I don't
her
think
in
it was
like
fair
that.
to her
It probably
either.
wasn't fair to her.
It really wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to the American people.
Yeah.
And so that was the time.
But
so I don't want to hear any of these Democrats getting mad about this bill. Like, y'all had a chance to
They
do
couldn't
it.
when it was in the Senate. They couldn't do anything because, in order for all Democrats to vote against the bill, right, they needed some Republicans on their side. Now you had a few that was against the bill, but when it came time to vote, they voted in favor of. So there's no way Democrats could do anything. And I knew the bill was going to pass. You already knew J.D. Vance was going to.
Yeah.
You know, you already know he was going to go for the bill. But
Here's what I think the Democrats should do right now. You have an opportunity to kind of rally around all of these things that are happening.
that's why they politicize it.
And what you need to do is you need to channel all that energy into putting actual candidates in a position to win in the midterms. And then you need to do the same thing for when it comes to 2028. Do not tell me about this bill and all. Oh my God. No. Actually put forth some candidates that people want to vote for. Okay. And actually run a fair election. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, that's what I think.
I'm sure that's what a lot of people think.
So that's what I think about the Big and Beautiful.
The Big Beautiful Bill. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. There is no need to worry about it, fret about it, because ultimately it is what it is. It's here. There's nothing y'all can do about it. Mm-hmm. It's in your face, like you know what I'm saying, like a baby's ass just sitting in your face.
You know, the Democrats, they had won in 2020, both. They had the House and the Senate, I think. And they had the chance to get a lot of things done. They didn't do anything. And they were sitting there trying to play the morality game.
Being bipartisan.
Yes, trying to be bipartisan, trying to do all of these things. And it was like, no, when you have the chance for power, you see what the Republicans doing. They don't give a fuck.
I wonder will he have that same mantra now? Like you said, Republicans don't give a damn. They don't care nothing about your feelings.
Nope.
Even though we know he wrong, but we still gonna ride with his ass regardless. I wonder will will they start using that same notion? Because I heard people say that the language of politics is dead.
No, because what they do is they get all up in arms about things. And then when it's time for them to like do something, they go, well, we're different from the Republicans because we're so morally right. And, you know, they come up with all this other stuff. It's all for show. It's all for show. It's like, please.
He's telling you to get your ass down in the mud. Yeah. Get down there and low crawl.
Do something.
Talk some shit back to these.
Do something. Don't sit here and cry all day.
We gonna move on though, but our hearts and prayers go out to all the families in Texas.
Yes, for sure.
That suffered, and even though we know you guys still, well, it don't matter if you voted for Trump or Kamala. I ain't gonna do it because nobody can stop. I don't care who's in office. Nobody can stop a natural disaster. You just have to have preventive measures in place to help people. Well, you couldn't prevent it either. Because I didn't know it was a tsunami, you know. So sometimes you can't even prevent natural disasters. So, but you got to have things in place to help people when they are, you know, suffering in these capacities, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, man. So all right, man. Let's talk about your boy.
All right, not my boy. This is Diddy.
Yeah, that's your boy. Take that.
All right, so Diddy apparently got a standing ovation in jail.
In jail.
Did you hear about that?
Yes, I heard about
What
that.
do you think about that? He got a standing ovation.
I'm thinking a lot of inmates like Baby Hall. No, the reason why he got the standing O because nobody has ever beat the government, the federal government, on a RICO, and he beat the RICO, really, But that's not to say that he isn't found guilty on lesser charges. But yeah, he beat that RICO. Which I was telling you guys, look, I know a lot of you guys was thinking that, you love Diddy and you riding for him and this and that. And
Pause.
Look, yeah, pause.
Go ahead.
Sorry. But honestly, I was looking at the case and I was looking at all the allegations against him, right? And I'm looking at the case, and you got to realize you have to prove these things. Even though in the RICO, you only need at least 2 charges for the RICO to stick, and they couldn't even do that. So you have to prove these things beyond a shadow of a doubt. And his defense, they strategically picked a great jury that's going to be mindful of, I guess, in somewhat benefit, but at the same time, I can say they was fair because they still found him guilty on 2 lesser charges for transporting sexual workers, right? And they were men. They weren't women.
That's why he got off.
He transported.
No, I'm being dead serious.
Because they were men. But they were still prostitutes, though, regardless.
Well, here's the thing with the Diddy case. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But here's the thing with the Diddy case. If you had told me at the beginning that it was going to be 8 men and 4 women, I could have told you how this thing was going to go. I could have told you because the men are going to stick up for Diddy, especially a lot of those men were probably around the age like when Diddy was coming up and like were around it. But also, I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's just.
Well, I got two push back on it. Well, not necessarily push back. Like when you fought. Okay, let's start with the first part. Far as the men, I think only reason why I'm not saying the men are necessarily sticking up for Diddy.
Yes, they are.
Neither, and even some women too. I think what it is people looking at the entire case and they're saying that why everybody else got immunity. Except him. He's the only one who got to defend himself. Now, granted, he coerced and bribed a lot of people, but at the same time, a lot of them was guilty. They were doing things beforehand, Some of the people was with the freak offs. Not saying they didn't take it to that extreme, but I think a lot of men and women were looking at the fact that, hold up, some people need to be held accountable. Not saying they necessarily have to take a bigger charge as him, but they need to be held accountable, right? I think that's what was happening. Now, far as what you were saying, because the transporting, it was men, maybe they might be looking at it like this. Normally when you bring prostitute, because he didn't have sex with the men, allegedly, you know what I mean? It's like if you bringing in prostitutes, 9 times out of 10 they could be women, right? Not men, right? They could be women. Is that safe to say?
Well, I wouldn't do that at all.
Well, no, right.
Yeah, go ahead.
But if you were in that mind frame, right? Yeah. You bringing in women, and then with the intent of having sex with them, right? But now, if you're bringing in, think about it, you bringing in guys to have sex with your girl while you pick the guy. So technically, you didn't engage. You did transport, so you guilty of that. So really, you didn't engage. And then if you have sex with your girl while the guy is there, that's just freakiness, really, when you think about it. You know what I mean? So maybe I don't know. Maybe that's why I think they look at it as a lesser charge of just transporting.
Well, do you really think that Diddy is innocent after all these years?
No, I never said he was innocent. Never.
So you do agree that he did some stuff that he's gotten off for?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Drugs.
Okay.
Drugs.
Wait. So
even though he wasn't.
But I'm talking about all the stuff. I'm talking about Biggie. I'm talking about Tupac. I'm talking about all that stuff.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Now, honestly, from what I've heard as the Tupac stuff,
okay,
I don't know if it's true or not. But hey, I can see how it could be valid. But I don't know. That's alleged. I'm just only focusing on the actual trial here. Now, within the trial, I think, yeah, he did some things and he got off with it. Yeah, did he pay off some people? Yeah. They couldn't get him on the racketeering and the bribery, just only on transport. Did he do some bribery? Hell yeah. Did he probably do some racketeering? I'm pretty sure he did. He got money, wealth, power, fame, and he think he on top of the world. He think he Mr. Untouchable. You know, sometimes people abuse power. And it looks like that's what he was doing. He was abusing power. I never said he was innocent. I just thought from listening to everything, it was going to be hard to prove him straight out as with the RICO charge. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this. Had Cassie not been, and that's not to say she's not a victim. Had Cassie not been an accomplice too, she said, oh no, he made me do everything. I didn't really want to. Then I said, oh hell yeah, he gone. He gone. When they got them text messages and she said, oh, I really wanted to freak. And a few times he said, nah, I didn't feel it. Well, I really want to freak up there. Well, go ahead, you set it up then. Yeah, he was paying for it. You know, so he's guilty in that act, definitely. But I think if she didn't do that, he would have been totally gone. What you think? Go ahead. I knew you got something to say.
Listen, she was not. I've said this multiple times.
Yeah, you did.
She didn't do anything wrong. It was all on Diddy. Diddy's the one that was doing this stuff before they were even together.
Freak-offs?
He was putting these freak-offs together.
Before
come on,
Cassie?
Man. Yes, come on.
You think so? With who?
Bro, come on.
With who?
People have been talking about
anybody?
Diddy parties for years.
Yeah, they've been talking about parties.
Bro,
but they haven't been talking about freak-offs.
Listen, it's okay. I know.
They've been talking about parties, but not freak-offs.
This man was invited to some of the freak-offs. So he's sticking up for Diddy, and that's the truth. All right, let me read this real quick. Sean Diddy Combs to be sentenced October 3rd. All right. Mm-hmm. So Combs last week was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. After an 8-week trial, he faces up to 10 years in prison on each count. So he could get like 20 years, though legal analysts predict he will get much less.
Of course.
Right. So
yeah, he's gonna get less of that.
Yeah.
He's gonna get like. He's been in there
years.
since what, September of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So and they wanted to expedite the sentencing, which due process they have the right to do that. But the judge said no, he's waiting until October 3rd. So that's already gonna be a year. He's already, he already can be in there for a whole year.
Yeah,
that's gonna come off his time as well. So I don't think he's gonna get that time like that. And then for transporting, I don't think nobody has ever got that much time for transporting sex workers. Nobody's ever got that. I don't even think pimps get that much time. And they get caught red-handed with the hoes. You know? Mm-hmm. I don't even think they get that much. I think because it's high profile and who he is, we're going to make an example out of him. And he is a black man. And that's not to say that he's innocent. And I do feel, of course, a lot of stuff he brought on himself because, you out there with power, you drunk off power, and he probably needs some help. Drugs, sex addiction.
Yeah,
that's definitely what I would say. They should sentence him, right? If you sentence, let's say he get 3 years, sentence him to like rehabilitation, something like that. Just sitting in a jail cell, he gonna say, yeah, I had time to reflect. I'm out because believe it or not, you still got a lot of people caping for him. Like, yeah, he don't need to be in there, and he should be out. Yeah, Diddy home. Let the brother get some help. Send him some rehab or something.
Yeah, I mean this is what I'll say. This is the last thing I'll say about Diddy is that like part of me, even though I know he's guilty and he should have been sentenced to more time. Part of me is, I wouldn't say happy. I would just say that I'm a little relieved that, another black man didn't get found guilty, if that makes any sense. Because, especially somebody at this, like, point that he is. Like, he's one of the big dogs, right? He's almost a billionaire, or he was. So, yeah, I mean, like, I never want to see that for us. You know what I mean? But I do think he's guilty, but he got off. So This is OJ part 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't want to see that for us, but at the same time, you almost gotta be a squeaky clean person, you know.
Mhm.
If you're gonna be freaky, just be freaky with your girl, you know. Like if y'all go out and y'all meet a third person and bring them back, there's nothing, you know, as long as you didn't make a person do anything beyond their will,
Uh-huh.
you know, then they're gonna turn and then it turns into kidnapping and thing, you know. You're moving them beyond their own will, and then if you forcing drug paraphernalia on them, then that's, you know. But if a person wants to do it of their own their own volition, then there's no crime in it. Now the drugs, that's the different story. That's a totally different story. But you know, but yeah, you almost got to be, you a black man, you a mogul, you in America. You know, it ain't many of us in that, you know, sitting in wealth like that. So you almost got to be kind of squeaky clean, you know,
Yeah.
to some degree, you know, so they don't point the finger at you. And like I said, man, before I said in an earlier podcast, he was always he loved the limelight. He loved the limelight. You know, you love to be seen, which is nothing wrong with being out front, but you almost got to be kind of squeaky clean. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to another surprising story.
But another squeaky clean person?
Yeah, apparently the Epstein client list was never a thing, according to the Trump administration. There was no Epstein files. So let me read this. This is from The Guardian. Actually, let me read the one from Fox News real quick. Because a lot of MAGA are very, very mad about what's been going on with this. Pam Bondi is under siege after DOJ reveals no Epstein client list. Attorney General Pam Bondi is facing scrutiny for remarks made this year about Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking case after the Department of Justice and FBI brought their Epstein inquiry to an abrupt close over the weekend. So basically, they were saying that there was no client list. They're saying that there was files, and they actually released video of the prison that, you know, Epstein was at, and they tried to show the timing and stuff like that. But a lot of people have come out, and people are having full-out breakdowns. Like Alex Jones and some of these other people are like going crazy because they were like, "Yo, these people are lying."
Yeah,
so it's almost
blatantly.
like MAGA is going after Trump right now, and they're really mad about them and this. And I do want to play this clip of Trump. This is him at the White House just moments ago.
You're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said I was asked a question about the client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed. And my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant.
All right. And according to The Guardian right now, the House of Representatives, the Democratic House of Representatives, they're actually trying to file a motion right now in order to get those files. Top House Democrats demand release of Epstein files that mention Trump. So basically, they're going after what Elon Musk had said. They're citing what he had said, and they're asking that they release those files. So what do you think about all
I think
this?
there's some truth to it. When Elon Musk, well, we heard about
Truth to what? What are you saying?
but the Epstein files. That there's a list. She literally said it was on her desk. Now that was Bondi who said that, right?
Yeah.
Now she's coming back now and saying, "Oh, there's no list." So they're protecting Donald Trump. That's exactly what they're doing. And then I think, because I think we heard about this way before before Elon even tweeted this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, Epstein's ex-girlfriend, I can't pronounce her name,
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was supposed to reveal everything that's on everyone who's been on the plane, and then they also can look at the flight logs too, who rode this plane and who was there. So I believe there's some truth to it. Now, with the Democrats trying to get DOJ to produce this, right? Even if they get it, I think some things are going to be redacted. I don't think they're going to let everything out, right? And so, honestly, even if Trump was on it, right? Let's say he's allegedly on the list, which I think he is. Otherwise, why are you skirting and going back and forth, right? But let's say he is on the list. Not saying what does it matter, but what does it matter? You the sitting president. You can be on the list. I think they still ain't. They're not gonna do nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna do anything to him. I mean, you can say, oh yeah, we want to impeach you. They did it twice in his last, but they didn't impeach it. It wasn't successful. They can say, oh yeah, we impeached him twice. No, you didn't. Nixon was impeached, but then he ended up resigning. So yeah, you attempt to impeach him twice. But he still held office until.
Yeah.
But I think there's some truth to this. I think, and honestly, I don't even think Epstein unalived himself either, because the time they said it was 11:58. Mm-hmm. Then it all of a sudden it jumped to like 12. So now put like this.
There was a minute.
It's a minute. Now this is what I think. This is what I think. They claim he unalived himself, right? Either someone did it, or they came to him and gave him the stuff, said, hey, this stuff is going to be bad for you. So the best thing for you to do is go ahead and unalive yourself. Mm-hmm. And then in that aspect, he can say, oh, yeah, he did it. Which is, yeah, technically, yeah, he did, but he might have done it through coercion. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I believe. That it's just too crazy. That gap unaccounted for. This is the one time that the guard just all of a sudden get up and leave. He was away from his post. We see this shit in movies all the time. Come on, man. This is a damn movie. What happens when the guard's sitting there looking at them? You ever see they looking at them on, then all of a sudden they fall asleep. Or they laughing at, they looking at a chick on their phone, and this when the people creep into the building, and then the monitor, they put something up over there so you can't see, or they spray out the monitor black. And then when he looks, oh, what's going on? Hey, he hit the button there. Come on, man. This is out of damn movie, man. I mean, I don't think he unalived himself.
Well, I think that Trump is full of shit. And I think that I've always known that he was full of shit. But I think a lot of Trump supporters and MAGA people don't think that he's full of shit. But this shows that he's full of shit. And you expect people to really believe that something didn't happen with Epstein and that there's no client list. Okay, come on now. I mean, what are we talking about? And the way that he got up there and was like, well, why is everybody talking about this when stuff is happening with Texas and all this other stuff? Is like, bro, please.
He's deflecting.
What are you trying to do?
He's deflecting. That's clearly
deflecting. We can clearly see what you're trying to do.
He's deflecting.
And, I think that finally we can Trump supporters finally admit that Trump is now a politician. This is his moment. This is the moment that he comes out as a true politician. Stop telling me he's different, that he's not who he is. He got up there like the rest of everybody else. Yes, he might have been an outsider at the beginning, but he has turned himself into a politician, and he's become a great one because he lies. He lies so beautifully, as he would say. That's what's going on right now, is that these are beautiful lies, He's a beautiful liar. So and I think that a lot of Trump supporters have gotten fooled by that over the years. But you have to call it what it is now. When you see this, when you see what with the JFK files, nothing happened with that. What's going on with the JFK files that they released? What's going on with the MLK files that they released? It's just they are so full of shit up there. And this proves that he's full of shit. And he's become like every other president, every other person that gets up there and acts like they want to do change, and then they don't do it. And so I don't know what it is. Maybe they see behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they see other stuff that's going on. Maybe there is the shadow government that these people come out and talk about all the time. You know, it's like at the end of the day, you know, politicians are going to be a politician.
Yeah.
And what do politicians do best? They lie beautifully.
They
They
bullshit.
lie beautifully.
They bullshitters.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, I want MAGA people, I want Trump
Mm-hmm.
supporters to finally call this out. Like, you know, like y'all have to
But do
like
you think
say
they
it.
will? You think they will call it out?
I think they're already mad at Trump. I
the
mean,
MAGA?
yeah, but you know who they're going to blame it on? They're going to blame it
The
on
Democrats?
the FBI director.
Oh.
They're going to blame it on the guy. He used to be a Secret Service agent, but he was on Fox News.
know
I
you
can't think
talking
of his
about.
name right now.
Who's the
But yeah, they're going to blame
'Cause-
it on all these other people because they don't want to blame it on their guy Trump
Yeah.
because they love him so much. But you have to call this out. The hypocrisy, the I don't know what else to call it, but it's just a
That's
lie.
what it is. It's hypocrisy.
You're not gonna fool any of us, all right?
Because the director, the FBI director, he did before he became the director, he was saying there was a list.
Yes.
And now he's director. Oh no, there's no list.
Yeah, that guy's full of
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, he's very.
So
He's an Indian guy, right?
Yeah. Please. I mean, even with the interviews, when everybody was like gawking about his interviews and some of the things he was saying when he went on these podcasts, it was like, please, are you guys really? I mean, I couldn't believe that Trump chose him. I mean, it's kind of like, what are we
Loyalty.
doing here? You
Loyalty.
know, like, so. I mean, listen. I mean, you have to call it out and talk about this stuff and be honest with yourself about what's going on here. Do I think that Epstein killed himself? I mean, he had
himself?
Yeah, he had to unalive himself. I mean, there's no other explanation for him because you know he was one of those people who had a lot of dirt on very powerful people.
Yeah.
And a lot of Democrats try to skirt over this, but on the flight logs, they saw whose name on that list?
Clinton.
They saw Bill Clinton's name on that list.
And you had some prime ministers too, and wrote some Prince.
Yeah, they had
a few.
They had all types of people, including I think Trump's name was on that flight log list too.
He was at one of the parties
on
of
the
course,
flight.
we see the
On the
video,
flight
that doesn't
log,
mean anything, but
yeah, on the flight log, he was like flying from Mar-a-Lago or somewhere. So that's how they kind of.
Well, you know, the
around
island was in Florida.
Oh, was it?
It's off of Florida.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
I thought it was somewhere else.
No, I'm sorry. He lived in Florida. Epstein lived in Florida because I saw the documentary.
Where was his island? Full of shit than this.
It was Little St. James, a private island in the United States of the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
But he lived. I know he lived in Florida though. He lived in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know like RFK was on there, but he like flew. He like flew somewhere. It wasn't like he was going to the island.
Gotcha.
They had him like going.
Hey, and just because people were on the plane or island, that doesn't mean he did anything. But from the documentaries, I heard that one
Clinton 23 times though.
Oh wow! And I did hear about that one royalty dude who actually did because one of the girls testified in the documentary saying that
he got kicked out of his out of the royalties.
Yeah. I don't remember who he was, but yeah.
Yeah, Prince something.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of conspiracy. Is his ex girlfriend? Is she still alive? You don't hear anything about her.
Who are you talking about?
Maxwell.
Yeah. She's in prison. She's serving her sentence for 20 years right now.
Did they say where she's locked up at?
No, you can look it up. But yeah, I mean, like she's gonna be in there for a while.
Oh yeah.
So,
but they were saying that she was going to release everything, and now what happened? You don't hear anything about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you cannot expect us to believe that none of this is true when you have Ghislaine. She's locked up.
Right, exactly.
Like, why is she locked up if none of this was real and none of this happened?
She is silent. She's probably in a hole.
Yeah.
She's probably in a hole in solitary confinement.
They definitely got her silence.
Yeah, they definitely got her.
But I mean, like, there's obviously something going on here. There's too many powerful people who were on that list. And if you really want to talk about the shadow government, I mean, this is the time to believe in it because, I mean, there's too many people on that list and too many powerful people on that list.
I think they
And
are
so
the
that's
shadow
why
government.
it's not coming
They
out.
are the shadow government that
That's
they're
why it's
talking
not
about.
coming out. Yeah.
They are the shadow government. Who's ever in power, whether it be Republican or Democrat, who's ever in power, you are the shadow government. And they go through great lengths to protect certain people by any means necessary. And and when you got that kind of power, sometimes you're gonna abuse it. Where he wasn't president at the time, but now he has that kind of power. You're going to protect the person who's in power by any means.
Yeah.
Whoever has to take the dive for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
That's crazy. I mean, I think Epstein wasn't. He didn't kill himself. Come on,
Nah,
he didn't. He didn't
didn't
unalive
unalive
himself.
But man, just think, this dude. No matter how good a president is, this everybody will remember this guy. He came back twice
Oh yeah.
during a pandemic. He had how many? He was in. He had a lot of. He wasn't a convicted felon, but he had how many charges?
He had 33.
33
Yeah.
charges. Now the alleged Epstein files. It's so much. His first administration, a lot of them got locked up. They tried to impeach him twice. I'm like, dude, man, it's almost like we just got a straight thug. we got a thug. Like people like to say that white privilege don't exist, man. I'm telling y'all, man, we are witnessing it in real time.
Yeah.
He is the epitome of white. Can you imagine if this was Obama?
Oh my goodness. They would have impeached him 4 times.
Oh my! And probably would have went through it. And the Democratic Party's so weak, they probably wouldn't even fight it. Well, Obama, you brought it on yourself.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing we can do. And some of them will probably raise their hand to get him impeached too. That's how undivided, how weak the Democratic Party is. So
yeah. What do you think about Elon Musk threatening to make a new party, or he did make a new party?
He did?
Called the America Party to challenge Republicans because he's so mad about Trump and the Epstein list and him doing all of this stuff with him getting rid of his friend that was supposed to run NASA and also him doing the big beautiful bill.
Man, anybody with man, it's hard and it's sad to say this, but anybody, when you transferring over power, he already has wealth. When you transfer over power, you don't know how he's going to yield that power. So if he has the American Party?
America Party. Yeah.
America Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they will have a democracy and vote on who becomes their candidate, or would it be him?
I don't know. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So you honestly don't know, right? Now so I guess he's a full-on citizen.
No, he's not.
So then how is that even plausible?
Well, he wasn't born here. He's a citizen.
He's a citizen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you become a naturalized citizen, then you can run for presidency without having to be born. Is that safe to say? Is that
I don't
you have
think
to be born
I don't
here,
think
right?
so. I think they do have they have a loophole where
let me see.
You don't have to be born here, I believe, but
let me see. Do you have to be born in America to run for president?
Let's be honest, those Americans that believe in America.
Yep. No, you don't have to be
exactly.
born in America as long as you're a citizen.
But the people who believe in America, you know what I mean?
You think
you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, of course.
They're not going to vote for anybody who ain't an American.
Even though he looks like them, you don't think they would?
Nah, there's no way.
That's why I know, like your boy Vivek Ramaswamy would have never.
Well, he was born here, wasn't he?
It don't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
He was born here, but he's still Hindu.
Yeah.
They want Christian, preferably white man. Obama got through because of the wars in Iraq and the stuff with how Bush handled things, and people just got so fed up, and then Trump is the result of Obama. So, man,
all I can think about when I think about all these things that are going on right now with Trump and all of this is like, dang, this is what the 60s must have felt like. I mean, when you think about what happened in the 60s, RFK going down, JFK going down, MLK going down, and then all the different things that they were doing with the FBI and all the different experiments that were going on.
COINTELPRO.
Yeah, like all of that stuff going on.
That's
And
the J. Edgar Hoover era.
I mean, this is what it must have felt like. I mean, when you think about what's going on with Trump and with this assassination attempts on Trump and all the things that are happening with that.
With that in the 60s, they were taking out people who were striving for change and to make, at least from my understanding, of course, MLK and JFK, you know, he would say, not ask what your country has done for you, but what you can do for your country.
Right.
So I think they were striving to somewhat trying to make America better. I guess it's safe to say better, not making America great again, because in reality, America was never great to its native, meaning us, you know, to its own. You know, only certain elitists had that quote unquote American dream. Some of us got the American dream, and even some white people don't feel like they have amassed the American dream fully, right? But they were striving to make things better, at least in my understanding, for everybody. But you have those that didn't want that, you know. And it's safe to say, like, even with like how you mentioned with FBI with COINTELPRO, and it's been on record with J. Edgar Hoover saying that, you know, we don't want them to disrupt our way of life. So everyone who was uplifting black, even from the Black Panther, from Malcolm X to MLK to Fred Hampton, and Fred Hampton was uniting everybody who was white, black, everybody. He brings, yo, you know, we got to realize something. It's even though we look different, we in this thing together. And they were starting to understand that, but hey, this dude about to disrupt our way of life, you know? And the powers that be did not want that. So, but with him, he is not doing nothing to better, meaning Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, some of y'all president. Well, he's all our president, but I don't see what he's really doing to better everybody's life and the way they were moving. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I just find it all interesting, you know? I think ultimately, you know, a lot of people feel differently than the statement you just made, right? That, you know, a lot of people felt like Trump was going to change things.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But he's business as usual.
Yeah, of course.
And, I mean, I'm going to get in trouble for this take. Maybe I shouldn't say this take. But I think that Trump was to MAGA and Trump supporters what Obama was for the Democrats and for black people, yeah. And they have very similar, I feel like it's kind of fizzled out in a way. Now you have your people who still like love Obama, right? The people
even and some whites too. Some white people too.
They still love Obama. Yeah, Democrats. I'm just thinking Democrats, you know.
Just Democrat,
But yeah, I mean, like they love Obama, right? But you know, like there's a lot of people now who I think it's popular to kind of go after the Obama administration, and I'm just like, you guys don't remember how great it was, you know? Like, yes, he didn't live up to everything he you know, we wanted him to do and wanted him to be, but it was a great, you know, administration. It
and
was
he
a
also
great time.
didn't have the House nor the Senate.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people forget about all that he had to do in order to get some of these things passed that he got passed. And that's why I think that the Netflix documentary was so great, because it reminds you that like this guy was a G.
Yeah, pretty
you
much.
know, like and he was able to get up there and to make you feel good about who the president was. And so but yeah, I mean, like, I think that, you know, a lot of people are like, and I think ultimately Trump's administration is going to end up where people are going to end up just not liking it overall when it's all said and done. And so
you got to let it run its course. You got to let it play out.
We'll see who's next. All I know is that you'll never see a time like this again. There will never be another Trump. And And a lot of Democrats have been fighting it for years, but you're never going to see another Obama. And that's the truth. And so, like, as we go forward with politics, I mean, I think it's going to swing back to where we just see, regular politicians. I don't think we're going to see outsiders coming back to the White House
like
for
a
a
Trump.
while. Yeah, like a Trump.
Like a Trump.
Or even
Honestly,
even Obama. He was looked at as an outsider.
yeah.
He was looked
Honestly,
at as the change
I
person.
thought, man, once when Obama won twice,
Mhm.
I was like, wow, you know what? This is America forging forward. I said, man, I don't think we're going to go back to the days of white man rule. No, that's not to say that we're going to have a black president from now on going forward, And I was like, man, because when you look at when he was up for a re-election, and when he addressed his address,
Oh yeah,
at his what's the thing, man?
I know what you're talking about.
It was a mixture of people, multiple people, right?
Yeah.
You saw that. Then when you saw, because he ran first, it was McCain. I ran against him, right? Then it was who was
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney ran second, right? And when they lost, especially when McCain lost, all you saw was a sea of white. It wasn't no diversity. So I was like, man, America, some of the people, coming together, not all, but majority, and they just ready for a change. I guess they wanted hope. They wanted something, which they did at the time. They did want something. And I was like, man, this is America forging forward. Things going to definitely be different. That's why I thought that Hillary stood a chance. And I was like, there's no way this dude. I was like, man, with the antics this dude was doing, I said, do he really want to be president? But I said, there's no way. I thought she had it in the bag. Yeah. And of course, but the people spoke. It's like, nah, you know what? Obviously, the ones who was dormant woke up. And no, we don't want no more Obama. We want this, So that put you back in perspective of what America really was. And honestly, I think, like you said, people was think that they wanted that change, but you got to realize what they wanted to change for. I think it's safe to say, with other presidents like a JFK or Obama, I think they wanted jail for yourself, but I think they were looking at everything in totality to change for all, overall better. Seemed like with Trump, everybody want change for selfish reasons. I don't want them to have, I want to have, right? Then let's get rid of all of them. And I get it. You got to have the border protected. You don't want these type of people coming here, and they harp on trans. That is a small percentage. But when you go off a Christian-based thing, these are sins. That's what they look at. So you can galvanize that. And that's all that was, right? And then the foreigners, right? The foreigners that come in. And I get, like I said, you do want border protection. I'm not saying this, let open the floodgates everywhere in. But then at the same time, they're working for all these people. Now you on social media crying about, I don't have no employees. We about to go bankrupt in the next quarter. Then you got the Hispanics who turn around, do the same thing. And now you on social media. They deported my dad. My wife came and hugged, and you doing the right thing. You going to your hearings for immigration, then ICE with masks on, locking you up right there on the spot is not funny. But, there's a saying, you reap what you sow. So I think a lot of people looking at things with him for selfish, he's going to make the economy better. No, he wasn't. He never said, and correct me, did he say how he's going to make the economy better? Or he just going to say, I'm going to make your grocery prices less. I'm going to bring your gas price. He said, I'm going to do these things. But did he say how he was going to do these things? No. He never does.
No.
That's a politician. That's what vague, open, empty promises.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the key, is that Trump is a politician.
No, you're right.
Y'all got fooled into thinking that it was going to be different.
You got shitted.
Trump is now a politician. Can we all stand up and say it? He's a politician.
After his second term, yes.
Hopefully the MAGA people can say
up.
it. The Trump supporters can actually say it.
I don't think they're gonna wake up, man, because it's a cult.
Yeah,
it's such a cult. Like, there are a lot of followers of Obama. I get that, but it wasn't a cult.
Yeah,
and they're like, this is a cult, man.
Yeah. There's definitely a movement there.
Yeah, oh, definitely,
There's
definitely.
definitely a movement
You
there.
know it's a movement
So,
when you don't even call them Republicans. You call them MAGA.
yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely a movement.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But what did you think of Drake's new
I heard he got a new song out.
Yeah, what did you think of
They said didn't
What Did I
didn't
Miss?
take off as well
What did I
as
miss?
people
What
think.
did I miss? That's bull because it was
It
number
did?
one.
Oh,
It was number
Okay.
one on Apple, and
Okay.
Spotify.
I don't have Apple.
Number
so-
one on Apple and Spotify.
What about oh, you don't have Android Auto? Is it
Yeah.
number one?
No, the Android what?
Android Auto.
No, I don't have
I mean, not Android Auto. I'm sorry. YouTube Music is what.
I don't know if
Android
it's number
uses.
one on YouTube Music, but I do know it's number one on Apple and Spotify. That's where most people get their music,
Okay.
on those platforms. And so, and it kind of overshadowed this, release with Clips and all those guys.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you don't even listen to those guys. But
Clips?
That's okay.
Yeah, I listen to Clips. Yeah, I listen to a few of their tracks. I listen to some Drake's tracks too. When it comes up, I listen to some of Drake's tracks. Drake has some good music. I never said he didn't have good music.
You didn't listen to the new song?
No, I didn't even know. I just found out today he had a new song.
Oh, okay.
That came out.
Oh, so you missed the whole rollout. Yeah, this is a rollout for his new album, Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, he had on his Instagram, he told everybody, hey, like in an hour, I'm going to drop. And so
And you was there
basically, no, I actually missed it.
Oh, you
Because I
missed
think
it?
I was doing something else.
Wow.
Because it was late. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock when he actually got on.
Did you cry?
And no. And then basically it was like him like dancing in a warehouse, and he was like measuring some ice, and then all of a sudden he just started like singing this song, and it was one of the songs from the album, What Did I Miss? And then he like gets into this like truck,
Mm-hmm.
and then people realize as he was driving around in the truck that he was like driving around in downtown, Toronto. And so, and it was live. It was actually like live. He was like streaming it. And so a bunch of people just started running out there and like kind of joining the fun. But he teased a number of different songs that are going to be on his Iceman album.
Why is he calling it Iceman?
It's called Iceman. It's kind of a deep reason why, because, that comes from like the comic books.
Oh, Iceman?
And yeah. And
From
it's
the Marvel?
And I mean, you can go into the deep dives of what really is going on there, but basically he kind of feels like he's like Iceman, because Iceman, there's a redemption and a revenge story there. That's what I hear from the comic books. I don't really read comic books, so I don't know anything about that stuff, but I've seen a couple of the breakdowns
Oh, yeah.
of why it's called that. And
Did you hear anything about did Drake say anything about when Kendrick performed in Toronto with 2 days, I think?
he didn't say anything about that, but he did on this new song, What Did I Miss?
I know you talked
A
about
lot of people are
LeBron.
saying that he's sneak dissing LeBron.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely dissed LeBron.
Yeah.
Said they ain't friends
So-
no more. Sound like a little kid, huh? You ain't my friend no more.
Well, LeBron was deeply unloyal. And, I want to see all of the LeBron Drake fans who are Drake fans, but also LeBron fans.
So you said LeBron should have picked a side?
LeBron, I told you LeBron wasn't the GOAT.
So you said LeBron
This
should have
proves
picked
that
a side?
LeBron ain't the GOAT.
LeBron. Hey, I never said he was.
This
you think
proves-
you think LeBron should have picked a side?
I mean, well, he already picked his side. LeBron picked his side.
I mean, but
No, please. He
no,
went to the pop-up concert.
No, I
and
know,
was
I know
dancing
that,
around.
I know that.
Don't even try that.
You think just because he
That's
went
why
to
Jordan's the GOAT.
You think just because
Jordan's the GOAT
You think-
because, all right, he
Well, you
he
never liked
supported
LeBron
Kendrick.
anyway.
He supported Kendrick. All right, now Jordan is the GOAT. LeBron is not the GOAT.
So you
And I
think
tried to tell people, but a lot of people had to see right now, Curry's actually the best player of this era,
you think
and he's with Drake.
you think
That's right.
You think what light skin stay with light skin? Hey, so do you think that because we said LeBron went to the pop up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And You don't think maybe he's just a fan of hip hop?
Oh,
And
please.
you don't
LeBron
think he should
picked.
have went?
LeBron knew what he was doing.
So you're saying that just
LeBron knew
because
what he was
LeBron
doing.
went to Kendrick's pop up, he doesn't want to rock with Drake anymore? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that there is no loyalty. And when you look at all of these people that went against Drake, all of these people, I mean, Rick Ross, all these guys, I don't even listen to a lot of these guys' music anymore.
You don't?
Somebody
Because they
asked
went
me the
against
other
Drake?
day, they said, do you listen to Pusha T's music? I looked at them sideways. I was like, please, I would never listen to that guy.
Because he went against
Yeah,
Drake?
if you go against Drake.
So you loyal to Drake.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. So what if LeBron was friends with both of them? So he should have still picked a side?
Yeah, I
and
mean,
rocked out with Drake?
I mean, when it comes to like Drake and Kendrick, because I mean, not Drake and Kendrick, sorry. When it comes to Drake and LeBron, they were friends years ago, before Kendrick was even like in the picture. And, and so with that in mind, it was kind of like, yo, like you're supposed to support me.
So what if
And you went on the other side. You see Steph Curry. Steph Curry,
probably stayed neutral?
No, yeah, even Steph Curry, like when he was when they were at the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
They started playing the Not Like Us.
Yeah.
Steph Curry wouldn't even dance to the music, and he was like, "Yo, there's other songs than that song."
He was probably tired of hearing it so much.
Yeah, but he was loyal to
But dude,
Drake.
this is the thing though. What I'm saying is, you said LeBron knew Drake a long time before Kendrick came. Now, okay. Now that's fair to say, because I don't know, right? Let's say he did know him, but let's say what if he hung out with, because Drake is in Toronto, obviously, right? What if he hung out with Kendrick more, because he in LA, he played for LA. What if he hung out with Kendrick, but he's still cool with both of them? But he said, "Yo, I knew Drake a while, but me and Kendrick, we hung out a lot." I'm just saying.
You have to realize
So do you
the
think
lies.
he should have still picked a side?
I think that he should have picked Drake's side. And here's one thing that a lot of people don't think about.
Dude, you sound like Obama just now.
What a lot of people don't realize is that there were so many lies that were told on Drake. And Drake stood up for a lot of these people when they were going through a lot. And for them not to return the loyalty, for them not to return, that thing, sticking up for your friends. I mean, like, I can't. I mean, I know I wouldn't keep those people around, because if you're not with me, you're an enemy.
Now, as far as, I don't know if if what you said, far as him sticking up for people and stuff like that, but I do understand that if you stuck up for a person and they flipped on you, then I do understand. And that beyond Drake, that's in your regular day life, at your work, friends, family, whatever the case may be, then you kind of just distance yourself from. So I do understand that aspect of it, right? But if you had two friends that one you may know a little longer, but you cool with both, and say, I'm gonna make up a name, say a dude named Chris.
No, I think you're missing the point.
No, hold on, no. So you got Chris, and then you got Tony. You cool both of them. You don't necessarily hang with them all the time, but you cool both of them. You done been around, hang out with them. But if they beefing, and if you just happen to be chilling with Chris, and Tony's like, "Oh man, you done pick a side," is that fair?
I mean, I think that Drake probably thought that LeBron was more of a friend than he imagined. I mean, than he thought. Like, they probably weren't really that as close as Drake thought they were. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Drake probably considered him a very close friend, because it's almost what you're asking really is, what if somebody was your best friend, and you had another friend that was like, he would come and hang out with you guys and stuff like that. Now you're let's call it really good friend, because you don't want to say best friend. Let's say that it's a really good friend.
Yeah.
You're really cool with him, and you knew him before this other friend kind of came into the picture and became friends with the both of you guys.
Yeah.
And something like that went down, and now you're over here hanging out with that friend, even though we knew each other for years and we were like very close, and like exchanged $1 million watches, and like was always kind of hanging out. Like, But you go and like you're at the Pop Out concert
Yeah.
when this guy you know for sure is lying on you and lying on your name and also messing up your opportunities in order to get a better contract. That's what's at stake here. It's a complicated matter.
You know,
So, I mean, when you think about it like that, and here's the thing: what a lot of people don't want to admit is that what Drake is doing right now it's Greek mythology at this point. It's biblical,
it's biblical.
you know, because for somebody to have that many people up against him, there's still people coming out. You saw T-Pain, you saw Chris Brown. They're still coming out.
They did.
People are coming out of the woodwork,
T-Pain
adding
and Chris
their
Brown
name.
come
They
at
are
Drake?
adding their name to the list. I mean, at this point, it's 100 versus 1.
Why are T-Pain and Chris Brown
And
coming
so
at Drake?
there's tons of these people coming out and still trying to take him down. This Clips album is about to come out right now. They're still trying to take this man down, but he cannot be stopped. It's Greek mythology. And this new album, the Iceman album, when it comes out, it's going to be his redemption. Okay. And him reclaiming, even though I never thought that he, lost it. He's always been on top to me for 17 years, but it's about his redemption arc and him reclaiming it, even with everybody against him, including UMG. And so
He's still signed to UMG.
it's biblical. It's Greek mythology. It's something you've never seen before. And that's why he's the GOAT. You will never see another career like this. You'll never see another career like this in the hip hop game. Because it's just not sustainable.
You know what? I'm gonna have to beg.
It's not
I'm gonna
sustainable.
have to beg to differ a little bit because
Go.
when you saying that he was lied on, they both took digs at each other. That's a rap battle. It don't have to be truthful. And then honestly, I don't think definitely not Drake fans didn't think a lot of that stuff was true. I didn't think all that stuff was true about Drake. I didn't think all that stuff was true about Kendrick. I thought it's a rap battle. They slinging mud at one another. I just took it for what it is. Trust me, I've seen rap battles on YouTube and they say way worse stuff than that and be in each other's face. But that's just a part of the rap beef. That's why I look at it. Also, too, man, I look at this stuff like a female. Females do that. Oh, we friends, and they want you to choose a side with this person here. If it was me, and say if me and LeBron cool like that, and he came to your pop up, and then I ain't gonna be like, oh, you ain't my friend no more because you went to this pop up. I don't think like that. If he's still cool with me, still cool with me, he probably just if you make good music, he probably just enjoying your music. Yeah, right now you my arch rival. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't trip. No. If he was over there, yeah, man, Hendrix. Yeah, man, you bought him. If he's talking trash,
But that's what he basically did.
But I haven't heard LeBron say anything. He said he's just at the pop up.
But him going to the pop out and dancing around and doing all that other stuff.
Dude, that's one thing.
That's basically coming at his name.
I haven't heard him. He had to physically say something. Like I said, once again, I look at these stuff like female traits. If you look at reality shows, like my sister watches a reality show, and it can be 3 women. They all been cool, but now these 2 feuding. She mad at her because you got to pick a side.
Yeah.
Why you want somebody to jump on your beef? No, that's between y'all 2.
Yeah.
That's between like if me and you cool. If I got beef with somebody, and you know that person, and you ain't got no animosity to them, I ain't gonna be mad at you because you kicking with man. Why you kicking it with them for? I got beef with them. You be like, man, that's between y'all. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's what it is, as the old boy said.
Female trait.
Drake is the GOAT.
Female trait.
Drake is the GOAT. You all know it.
Female traits.
And Kendrick is just a pretender.
That's female trait. That's female trait. Now, there's different.
And by the way, I warned y'all. I warned you. I said Kendrick can't what? He can't be on top.
Obviously, he's on top now. Pause.
No, he's not.
He's on top now.
By the way, did you see the sales?
Toronto.
Did y'all see the sales for his tour?
What was it?
The sales were bad.
They were bad?
They weren't even close to Drake's.
He did good in Toronto.
And they were in smaller venues, if I'm understanding it right. They were in smaller.
Maybe the man want an
venues,
intimate crowd,
and they
maybe.
didn't even get as much. And no, because they were actually making some of the tickets even cheaper, and they still couldn't get people to come to their tour.
I heard their tour was phenomenal. This is what I've heard.
Nope.
With him and
It didn't
SZA,
it wasn't
I heard
selling
it was
out.
phenomenal. I heard it did very well. But then
They
I
didn't make
can't
that
believe
much
everything
money.
you said because you
They
biased.
didn't make that much money.
Because you biased. At
Look
least
it up, Bo.
at least I can acknowledge that
Look it
Drake
up,
is
Bo.
a good artist. You wouldn't even acknowledge Kendrick as a good artist.
No,
So,
I have
so you
multiple
kind of
times.
biased. So really, what you really be saying holds no merit.
I have multiple times.
You can't be taken valid at these in these junctures.
It's okay though. We got to get out of here, but we got to get out of here.
Oh, now you want to? Don't silence me.
No.
Don't silence me, hater. Don't try to silence me. No, for real. We do got to get up.
All right. Once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Hendrix, and thank you guys for joining us, man. We have more podcasts, and like the brother said, more content. Hopefully, next time we just won't be talking about Drake.
Yeah.
I know you're tired of that.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I am too.
All right.
But Black Summer, we out. Peace.
Peace.